Hello, welcome to Mining Now, filmed from iMark. I'm your host, Jerrod Downey. Very happy to be here. We've got on the show today Ampcontrol. We've got 3 guests, so they're going to keep me busy here. And one of you is not excited, doesn't want to talk. You said Jordan, right? You said no talking on the show. No, we're going to have some fun here today. Great company, you're providing a lot through the supply chain, so we're going to cover as much as we can within a 45-minute period. Let's start with the intros here. Okay, we've got Jordan Armstrong, Business Development Manager of Mining. We've got Ben Maytom, Solutions and Marketing Manager, Applications.
Yep, that's right.
And then Chris Lodge, you are the Solutions and Marketing Manager, Mining Solutions.
Yeah, correct.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay, Jordan, let's start with you. We're going to make you talk right off the bat. Okay, let's just do an intro to the company. Who is Ampcontrol?
A very proud company, Jerrod. 55 years of working in the mining industry. Their early days were around the electronics and delivering protection equipment and electronic equipment, where it's grown. It's grown to a multifaceted business now. Ampcontrol delivers electrical equipment, manufacturing and solutions across all industries now and sectors. 1,400 people. Probably about 800, 900 engineering and technical people are based up there with a lot of infrastructure people as well.
So very traditional hardware company to start.
Very much. And grounded from the coal mining industry, especially underground, and then as it expanded to an open cut arrangement, as quarrying and mining, as you call it over there.
Yeah. Well, I know you're going to sound very much the tourist, but I brought my wife and baby here, and so we went up to the Blue Mountain, and of course, I went there thinking I was just going to see scenery, but of course it's a mine. It's a coal mine.
Yeah.
So it is, yeah.
Yeah, and they were talking about the history of those first guys that went down that bank to go test to see if it was worth investing in, and away they went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now so Ben, maybe I'll ask you, what's the future looking like at Ampcontrol? Because that's sort of all the traditional stuff is still there, but there's sort of this new future as well.
Yeah, correct. Look, we're still underpinned by that mining industry and the technology that's kept us in the industry for the last 55 years. But I think, the world's changing and we're changing too. And one of our catch cries, I guess, is challenge accepted. And we want to be seen as, I guess you'd say, the leaders or the go-to company when it comes to energy transition and innovation and the likes. We've got those 55 years of background, but we've also got access to the brightest minds, the smartest people, and Ampcontrol is diversifying, and we're challenging the future, I guess you'd say.
And what does it take as a company to have that as a culture? Because it's a very easy thing to say. I could come up with that for every company here and say, yep, that's what we'll do. And then it go horribly wrong. Yeah. Very clear from some of the products you've rolled out. One that's sitting right behind us as an example.
Yeah.
What is that as a company culture? Maybe actually, Chris, I'll get your thoughts on that one.
Yeah, look, Ampcontrol has always grown its own. So all our trade staff, our engineering come from a trade background or through a traineeship. So a lot of the people in Ampcontrol are long timers. I've been there 19 years, and I'm not an exception. So
did you 19 years?
19 years now. And
how old is he?
Yeah, yeah. It was straight out of school.
Okay,
electrical apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and like I said, I'm not alone in that. We've had a lot of people that come through and really grow our own and rely on being self-sufficient in that. So the culture of the business is awesome. It was a family-owned business for, I'll say,
51 years?
51 years of it, with a major stakeholder in Sol Pattinson.
Yeah.
And recently transitioned in the last 24 months to sole ownership of Sol Pattinson. Sorry.
Right. Okay.
So that's really opened up some areas of growth and opportunity, and having that investment in Ampcontrol and that confidence in what we are providing to the industry. So
is the leadership the same, or has there been some transition in that? If I'm okay to ask.
Yeah. No, look, recently we've had our new CEO started with us, so Gareth O'Reilly. So a bit of a change in leadership. Yet to see what that looks like, and
Right.
and obviously only been a week in, but
Right.
yeah, look, very exciting for Ampcontrol, the background that Gareth brings to the business. So
Yeah.
it'll open up more avenues, more opportunities for the business.
Fresh set of ideas,
Yeah.
fresh set of eyes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And his industry exposure is going to be huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
Gareth's held a number of large CEO roles. Latest with a large European electronics company that's integrated within Australia and New Zealand hugely, which is our customer base as well.
Yeah, correct.
But just on the back of what Chris is saying, there's a pathway for the people here. So as they start in a trade, they can go through engineering, and I know both of these guys I sit with have both come from the bottom of the floor to a management role,
Yeah.
Wow.
in a senior leadership role over that time.
I probably come from underneath the floor.
Oh,
Started underground coal, so I was a bit further down.
Yeah. You're on site as a
Yeah,
service.
Sparky by
electrician.
trade in
Yeah.
the underground mines, and
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And how'd
At the face.
how'd you end up with Ampcontrol?
I was basically working away from home, so you have your drive in, drive out, and you fly in, fly out. So I was doing drive in, drive out before Ampcontrol, and wanted to get a bit closer to home, and applied for a job in the field service team with Ampcontrol. Still working in the underground coal mines, and and managed to get a job, and that was, I'm coming up to 10 years in January with the company, and in various roles. 4 years in the underground field service team, and just moving through the ranks.
By the way, I think it's worth mentioning that I mean, obviously Australia knows this, but anybody who is outside the country watching this, that it's incredible the percentage that mining is of the economy. I think
The
it's
GDP.
6%. Is that? I think that's right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Just incredible. So many people come out of that sector. What, Jordan? I'll go back over to you. Electrification. How long have you been with the company?
This is my end of my third year.
Third year.
Yeah.
Okay, so still fairly new.
I've been within the mining industry all my life. Come from a mining family, but we've been providing temporary power for many, many years with another company. I was lucky enough to work with Ampcontrol on a number of projects, and knowing them, they asked me to come along to lead some of their non-coal work to electrify, as
I see.
the large miners are looking to change from a diesel to electric systems. Yeah, so that's where I. So yeah,
And so what does that look like? Maybe I'll get both of you actually to kind of zero in on this, on the electrification, that electrification focus. What does that look like for a company from an operations standpoint, looking at new products, testing new products? How do you approach it?
I think from an Ampcontrol point of view, it's extremely exciting, to see, especially over in Western Australia, which is essentially a diesel-driven society in the mining industry, for them to start to electrify. The opportunities are endless for Ampcontrol. Our transformer supply, our substation supply, our switch rooms. So we're really excited about that, and I guess it's about helping our customer on that journey, and not just supplying a product, but supplying a service, and helping those guys to get the best out of their mine sites on this electrification journey.
How do you communicate the pivot to the clients, though, or was it a demand thing where they're asking for it, so you kind of know that that's where it's going?
Yeah.
I think it's both.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
both. There's certain areas of the mining industry that are pushing forward with that diesel to electric conversion, and then there's other sides of the industry that we're working with, and they're a little bit slower, and it's about that sustainability, and like doing things how we've always done them is good, but can we do them cleaner? Can we do them safer, and still get that same result? Is where we're working with those customers.
So what has been the pull? Is it you seeing the opportunity, or the clients saying, hey, we need this? Yep, we love your hardware, but
Yeah.
there's a whole other thing happening now.
Quite often we'll have customers come to us with a problem and say, hey, can you provide me a solution to this? The knowledge and the background and the capability that Ampcontrol has, quite regularly we'll work in partnership with a customer to provide that solution. We've also got a partnership with Newcastle University with ResTech. So in that partnership, we have access to some of the smartest minds in the region and in the country. So that really helps us deliver those solutions.
So has that R&D side of the company then, has that sort of exploded? Did it go from 2 people to 20 to 100? Like what does that look like from an operational
It's
standpoint?
part of our DNA to be
Yeah,
So it was in there before.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's how it started.
That's where it started. They looked at a common product and they thought, how can we make that safer, better, or easier to use? Would you agree, Ben?
Yeah, but Chris touched on it there. So we've got a joint venture with Newcastle University that's called ResTech, and they do a lot of our R&D work for us, but they're not wholly and solely Ampcontrol. So our competitors, Joe off the street, can go to ResTech with an idea, and they can work in isolation that we don't see. But our customers come to us, like Chris said, with a problem, and we look to give them a solution to solve that problem, and we use that R&D component and the brightest minds in not only Newcastle University, but we have access to the universities all around Australia, and we have professors digging into the brightest minds all around the world, I guess you'd say, to help with those innovative products and solutions.
So do you do a mixture? Will you do one-offs, or is it you assess to go, this is a scalable thing, we'll tackle this?
Yeah, we have done one-offs, and I'll go back to people coming to us with a problem. During the kickoff of the COVID pandemic, there was a lot of discussion around not having enough ventilators to support the people getting sick. So I think it was the New South Wales government came to us and said,
New South Wales Health.
Yeah, New South Wales Health, and said, can you help us out? Can you design a ventilator? And I think it was in 13 days, I think they had a prototype, a working prototype of a ventilator, and it was probably certified, probably at least a month after that or something. So thankfully we never had to roll them out at scale with that, but that's the sort of the challenge and the ability that Ampcontrol has to flex pretty quickly to use its bright minds to solve a problem.
So do you want to be in the electrification supply chain, or do you want to be at every element of it? What's the goal, or are you already?
In years gone by, one of the things is Ampcontrol has tried to do everything itself, and we've tried to be a player in every part. But what we do now is we partner with people who are very good at what they do, and we look at what we're very good at what we do, and we look how we can work together. So we have our areas that we know we excel in, so switch rooms, transformers, substations, like chargers and the likes. But then, there may be other parts of that supply chain where we need to partner with other parties, and we'll work with those guys.
That's a fairly new approach then?
I think over the last couple of years, we've gotten a lot better at it. We've always done it to some extent, but over the last couple of years, we've started to partner with some good companies and bring out some really good solutions.
You say better at it. What? Oh, sorry. Someone was in.
No, I was just going to say our Siemens partnership is probably a good example there, Ben.
Yeah.
I saw that in the notes.
Yeah. Can you give Jerrod an understanding of that?
Yeah, so in terms of like your renewables and that sort of stuff, which is booming at the moment and is going to continue to, we've formed a partnership with Siemens. A lot of it works around their S120 inverters, but it also gives us access to the whole suite of Siemens products. Now Siemens see us as an integrator, and they're a supplier, so we are using their products to integrate into our solutions. So PCS units, BESS systems, things for power factor correction, StatComs and the likes. So it's microgrids, yeah.
Is each project pretty unique? Like, how much of it is like, okay, we got to design your system from the bottom up?
I'd say a fair portion of our work is engineered to order. So, it's quite difficult to you don't get similarities across products. So,
and that's our strength.
Yeah, engineered
being
order
able to
is always
that's what you're looking for.
Yeah,
looking for the out of the box.
We do have a fair few standard products in terms of relays and like protection relays, gas sensors and the likes as well. And they've been around for a long time, and we continue to evolve those products to not only make the industry safer, but continue to comply with the standards that are ever evolving.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned something about that you'd gotten better at the partnership side, which ironically, Crownsman has gone through that the last couple of years too, really understanding, like, we can't just keep filming episodes. We need to work with other organizations, like events and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think you got better at as a company?
I think learning what our battery limits are and sticking to what we're really good at, instead of delving into areas where there's someone that's already does it, and now it's how can we combine with those companies to make a superior solution rather than us trying to have a go at it. Yeah, so I think it's that better understanding of Ampcontrol and where we want to play as a company.
Right, not just so we can do it.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that? Either way.
No, I think it allows us not to have orphans anymore. We can really get our product range to be consistent with the partnerships, and it also gives us the scale. What we're doing with the large supplier now for the chargers, we've got 70 odd orders out there of exactly the same product. So when it goes to the mine, which is a very, very remote area, we're using exactly the same components, exactly the same technologies, exactly the same data gathering. So what you're doing is you're really getting a product that's solid, but it's repeatable and reusable. Right. So when the miners are using it out in the field, it's one product and it works the same across the whole platform. And that's what I'm proud of.
Yeah, and in harsh environments as well. I mean, the environments that these chargers are getting put into are hot, dusty, really, really harsh environments. So the technology that's in this megawatt charger is being implemented into containerized switch rooms, into a solution that can be picked up, put around the mine site wherever they need it, and it's durable and going to last a long time.
Well, what makes this charger behind here? Well, first let's just walk through what it is, but then let's talk about what makes it different from another one on the market.
Yeah. Well, firstly, it's utilizing 3 different technologies to give the customer the 1 megawatt, or being able to do the light vehicle as well. Right. So we've got adaptability across there. So we've got the largest drives within the smallest area for them, but it gives it that sort of ability to do a number of functions. That's important. It's transportable. So all the earthing and everything along connecting is easily done. So it's very, very plug and play. We can put that on a trailer. We can take it out to a remote mine site and connect it to a drill rig and recharge that, or a truck or anything along that. So it gives it that fungibility and transportable.
So so this has to be attached to power though, and then it feeds.
Correct. Yeah. This is the machine that changes it from standard power to the DC power to be able to charge the battery.
What would this have an advantage over? Because this is not the only unit in the market. There you have competitors. Where is the big advantage of this unit?
Okay. Normally they're air cooled, but this is a full liquid cooled system. So what that does, it's far more efficient. So you can get more power, more grunt out of the charge. In the harsh environments, we're also talking 45 degrees. Okay, so it operates at those temperatures where air-cooled will derate, because the air could be coming in at 42 degrees. You're not going to cool it. You're not going to get that exchange of heat to be able to get the quality of power. So even the cabling that you see is liquid cooled as well. So it becomes far more efficient as well. And that's technology working with our customers. Our customers didn't know what they didn't know. So we had to do a lot of work with suppliers and the customer to come up with this solution.
So, but on a mine site, because you're doing the full solution, so this would be one piece of a whole system.
Correct.
Yeah, correct.
So you would it if you're looking at a mine, you're saying, okay, this might need to move to 10 different places on this site.
Yep.
And there's maybe 3 of these units.
Yep.
And so now you're setting up the infrastructure.
Yeah, all the cabling, the substations that's supplying the power to these chargers, and the I'll say that the big excavators that they're electrifying in those markets. The field switches, essentially your power distribution. All of that, Ampcontrol is supporting field service support, on-site support. So, yeah.
What's your clients? Are you seeing clients do the pivot, like they're actually pivoting away? We were talking offline, like companies like McLean are coming in with their machines. Companies, there's pivots happening, then there's mixed fleets happening. It's quite complex. What are you seeing? How do you approach all these?
I think at the moment, it's very slowly at the moment. There's a lot of new technology coming out, and it's ever evolving. So the big miners, the tier one miners are, they're how would I say it? They're very, they're promoting the fact that they are going to pivot from diesel, but I think they want to do it right. So because it's going to be it's a massive outlay for those guys, and it's a big change. So they've got to get it right the first time, and I think it's happening, but it's probably happening a lot slower than some people want. And yeah,
what does that mean to you, getting it right? Though, actually, I'd like to ask all of you if you have input on it. What is getting it right, though? Like, even for me, when I'm here, I don't know exactly what that means. I understand the need for it, but where do you see companies? What steps can they take to make sure they are getting it right?
Well, I think, and this is where it goes back to working with what we do best and what we know, and that's electrical infrastructure. So if companies can involve Ampcontrol from the beginning, we can work with those companies on the infrastructure that they require, because they can go out and buy a truck, but do they have the power? Do they have the charger? Do they have the transformer behind it to be able to charge that truck? So if we can get involved in the beginning, we can help those companies design their electrical infrastructure and work out how to best set their mine up to be able to enable that electrification.
What are some common questions you get just when you're talking to people when they're trying to figure out their strategy?
Yeah, Jerrod, a lot of the questions a customer coming on is, how is it going to work? How is it going to affect our production? I also think around what does our team have to do? And what skill set are they going to need? Because it's changing and changes so fast. But these miners have been working in this same operation with this same equipment for many, many years. And we're coming in and saying, we're going to fix all this. We're going to bring this new stuff in.
They don't want a challenge.
No.
They're comfortable doing what they've done for the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah.
But let's face it, it's a hard work job. They're working in very remote or difficult positions. So anything new that could change or disrupt what they've done over the many years is challenging. So I think a lot of our customers want it to work, but they want it to work in the operation while production still happens. They're not just going to stop mining to bring in new equipment. So they want to...
I wouldn't.
No.
Because mining gets the money.
Yeah. So other than safety, production is the second most important thing in the mine over my experience.
Yeah. And that's what they're trying to figure out, that integration.
Maintain production, minimize downtime.
Right.
Yeah. Reliability of equipment, preventative maintenance. Ampcontrol's we've got site presence doing preventative maintenance on this equipment to make sure that you're not running it to death and then having downtime. You're really in front of the curve. You're doing that preventive maintenance to make sure that you got reliability of assets. The protection, the electrical protection, has created, I'll say, some challenges in that market. With electrifying all this equipment, you really need to have some robust electrical protection for machinery and people protection. So we've utilised the technology that we've historically put into open cut or underground coal mines and taken those protection relays and starting to put them into that environment. So it's just lifting that level of compliance and safety in those organisations.
So you're leading me to something else I wanted to ask, though, is the support. Because if I'm operating a mine, I better know. I want to be able to pick up the phone and call if I need, especially if I'm at a remote location.
Yeah, correct.
How do you provide those? Pretty hard to have someone on site all the time. So how do you approach that?
Yeah, so we've got 24/7 coverage. Someone can call the phone and someone will pick up, and we'll get in contact with our numerous field service or support or workshops across the country. So there's always someone located where our customers are, so that we can flex pretty quick.
You mentioned the equipment's at risk of being damaged. It's new, it's in a new environment, and it's in a new, harsh environment. Are you seeing a fair amount of learning and adapting?
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Amazing. So we've introduced cables and electricity to a open cut mining operation. So it's new. So the way that they operate, the way that they mine has to change. These cables are open to damage from vehicles, from a whole wide range of transport and moving around. So it's really important that we do the training and development piece as well. We do a lot of familiarization training. There's a lot of the AWARE system. They have a lot of online works as well. And it's being able to educate them as well. So change needs to be done across in the mining operation through familiarization and that, because damages is happening all the time. And once in the mine, if it's not working, they move around it and work around it. So
Right.
we've got to keep it working.
Right.
It's got to be a future thing.
I think something to understand is if we split Australia down the centre, you've got the East Coast and the West Coast. The East Coast of Australia, New South Wales and Queensland has been mining with electricity for 100 years, whereas the West Coast of Australia has been mining with diesel. So it's all been done before, and it's just about now educating the West Coast on how we do things, and they're, like you said before, they don't want to challenge the future. They want to keep mining. So it has been done. We know it can be done, and it's just about taking those learnings and helping our customers on the other side of Australia implement those into their mining.
Right.
It's important also, Jerrod, that you understand that Ampcontrol isn't just a supplier of equipment. We're holistically across all of it as well. So we do the education piece, as we thought, but we maintain it, we fix it, we have
Overhaul it.
Yeah, overhauls as well. So the life cycle of the mine is where Ampcontrol come in as well. So any upgrades that we can do technology-wise, you've done a number of those in your protection relays, automation to make it easier.
People are actually going on the ground to do those
Oh, yes.
updates.
Yeah.
And we implement it, whether it's in Chris's workshop or it's out in the field.
Yeah.
I want to go a little bit more into the overhaul because that seems like it's probably a pretty valuable service. I actually didn't realize you were going in and doing that work. So can you just expand on that a little bit more?
Yeah, look, it's the product life cycle, and it's the support the whole way through that product. So Ampcontrol, as we previously mentioned, will design engineered-to-order solution, especially in the mining industry on the East Coast. It's highly regulated, and there's stipulated overhaul regime timing that needs to be done to maintain compliance for use in those hazardous areas. So we've got there was an acquisition of a mining machinery business, which has added to our capabilities and our offering of Ampcontrol. So now we're overhauling heavy machinery that's used in the coal mines underground. So really exciting proposition for Ampcontrol, and along with that, we're doing that with our electrical equipment as well. So all the equipment that is getting utilised and rolled out as solutions in the mines, we're servicing that the whole way through its life cycle, and it's providing reliability of equipment.
And upgrades as well.
Absolutely, yeah. As
technology upgrades.
Yeah, a lot of this equipment has been. It goes in and out of a mine site and has a life of 15, 20 years. And over the last 15 or 20 years, Ampcontrol has done product development, and rolled out new products in the industry. Traditionally, our protection relays were a discrete relay that had a separate contactor and CTs, and I'll say in the last 10 years, we've actually modularized that so that if there's any failures on an outlet, you can essentially pull out all of the electrical hardware that is responsible for that outlet, and you can essentially put a cassette back in with a protection relay, the contactor and your CTs, and it can. And
not swapping.
There's like minimal downtime that you can essentially.
It's that evolution of innovation. So what started as a level A relay is now at a level E relay, and we're just constantly upgrading and changing to meet the technology. Like it keeps getting better and better and better, and we continue to move along with that with our products.
Yeah. And is there a cost savings? Is there like a range?
Huge.
Like you have some sort of percentage range? what the clients can expect?
What we're doing is it's nearly like rebirthing their equipment with upgraded new technologies, but we're also fully overhauling them for around 60% of the cost of a new one.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
It's a huge saving.
Yeah, and our mines work in a 3 to 5 year cycle of getting finance, and capital's getting harder to get in coal mining. We're giving them the option of utilising their equipment, just upgrading it to the latest and greatest.
Yeah. And short turn times on those overhauls is important, especially if it's a critical piece of equipment that's required for production.
Right.
Sometimes our customers have a period of a month that they will get all their equipment out to overhaul it to go back into service for another 12 months. Making sure that we're able to turn that overhaul around in as quick as possible so that they can get back onto production is critical. And that that's intangible how much money that saves when they are back on production sooner. So, we've got an ability to essentially work 24-hour shifts in our workshop when these sort of projects come around, so that we can compress a time frame that may be 2 or 3 months into about 25 days. So, pretty important for our end users.
Incredible. I was going to ask. I got a note here, and I wanted to just clarify because it was like a partnership with BHP, I believe, or some sort of collaboration. I saw it in my notes.
Yeah, we're very proud of that.
Okay.
We've been working with BHP across their businesses in Australia for many, many years. I've been lucky enough to know a few people through there. They came to us on the back of what we're doing in the coal sector, and they see that an advantage of having a supplier like Ampcontrol to work across their whole businesses. So they put to Ampcontrol 12 months ago the opportunity of signing a global framework agreement. And what that has in it is agreed terms, conditions, agreed pricing, agreed service delivery, agreed technology grabs.
Support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that global framework agreement also has access to our people, some of our innovation work that we're doing.
Saying ground support.
Yeah, engineering support. That's correct.
And from that global framework agreement was signed by our CEO and our CFO, not recently, and on the back of that has opened us up to 5 regional supply agreements.
Wow.
Copper being a large growth area for BHP, and Ampcontrol see that. Canada, so we're doing work, and Ben and your team have done some great work over in Canada already.
Wow.
I think it was the Jansen project.
Yeah, we've got our conveyor control systems over there on the Jansen Potash project in Canada. So we went through the stresses and the certification process to get our equipment ready to go, and now it's in that project over there with more to come.
So BHP saw the value in us working with them in Canada. Chris's team has just built their first electric substation, transportable substation for Western Australia for the iron ore, and a field switch.
Well, let's talk a little more about that.
Yeah. Yeah, look, it's a first of its kind for WA, and it's taking the technology and the solutions that we provide in the East Coast traditionally and putting them into that WA market. It's an opportunity for Ampcontrol to really support that industry. Copper, I think we all know copper's probably it's the hot topic at the moment. I think it's going to be the hot topic moving forward for a long time.
For a long time.
As we electrify it, there's more and more of a need for copper. So those rare earth metals is where Ampcontrol's flexing its traditional capabilities and pushing into supporting those projects. So
when you say mobile, what can you talk a little more about the unit itself?
Look, it's a transportable substation. So historically, it's got a high voltage incoming switchgear. It's got a transformer and then the low voltage distribution. So it's on a very big skid. It's got
6 wheels.
I think it's six
wheels.
Something. It's the
six
biggest,
big wheels.
I think it's the biggest wheels I've ever seen on a transportable substation before. But it's
so it's like this where you pick it up and move it. This is actually
probably 6 times the size of this, and it's pulled around by a large grader.
Yeah,
like a big D9.
It's got its own framework skill system.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's not self-propulsion.
No.
Propelled, but it does. It's essentially trailable, so you can move it around to suit wherever you need. You have your mine set up or network.
Right. So is that a common need, like that setup to have to move around like?
Yeah, absolutely. All our customers on the East Coast in those open cut environments have very similar, I'll say, solutions or substations. As the mine progresses or the production progresses, they need to move all their electrical infrastructure as they move. So yeah.
So this will be. Are you pretty confident that this will have has it already had traction in the market? I guess.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. That with the field switch, which is essentially it's the ability to
Connect and disconnect.
Disconnect.
Yeah.
And control your distribution of your network. So it's a really exciting opportunity for Ampcontrol, and I think we'll see a fair bit of growth in that market.
Yeah. And the wonderful thing is we collaborated with the team in iron ore because they have some unique requirements up there. They mine in very remote areas and they need a hub of where the power will come in from their renewable source or from their gas generation, and then they can distribute it out.
Right.
So this is, normally they would put concrete on the ground, they'd put earthing stakes in, and it'd be static.
It'd be an earth grid. Yep.
Yeah, these now move with the mine, and
incredible.
they can then pick it up and take it to another mine.
It kind of changes your whole planning now.
Yeah. And mining has to change now because as electrification, it sort of keeps you on a lead. It's like having a dog where you used to be able to run everywhere. Now you've got to train it to be on a lead and continue to work within that area.
You need equipment that can cater to that system there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Ben, I want to wrap up the show with the expansion question. Jordan, you mentioned Vancouver, Canada project. That's one example. But our audience is everywhere in U.S., Latin America, South Africa. We have people watching everywhere. But I'd say primarily Australia, U.S., Canada, and down to Latin America would be where a lot of people watch from. What is your approach? What is your outlook on for Ampcontrol in those areas?
Yeah, this is pretty exciting and something I've been heavily involved with. We've taken our tried and tested relays, and we've done which as we mentioned before, we have a lot of customers come back, and they're global customers, and they've had these relays in the past. We've now done modifications to make these relays capable of operating on the 60 hertz frequency, which is the US frequency, and we're actually just about to ship our first batch of mining equipment to 1,000-volt mining equipment to a mine in the US, which is pretty exciting times.
Well done.
Hopefully it's the first of many.
Yeah.
But we're not looking to stop there. So I've personally had meetings with the Canadian Standards Boards about how we can look at getting our relays certified to operate in Canada. We took a crew of people over to the mining expo in Chile and showcased our wares over there. So, look, whilst Ampcontrol may not be looking at setting up bases all around the world, we definitely are looking at getting our products out into that worldwide market.
And getting a good response. People are interested.
Yeah, definitely, because we know we've got a good product. So it's just about getting it out there and showing the world.
It's very exciting. Chris, Jordan, Ben, thank you very much for being on the show. I appreciate it. It's quite special for us. We started this show 6 years ago, and now we're in Australia talking to brand new partners and guests on the show. It's awesome. So thank you for doing this. Thanks for setting up and taking the time from the busy show.
Thanks for having Ampcontrol.
Yeah,
mate.
good on you.
Appreciate it. That's great.
Well done, mate.
Thanks, Jerrod. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
We'll have to have a beer again one day.
Yeah, maybe even two. And thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Are all you on LinkedIn?
Yes.
Yep. Okay. We'll put if you want to link with any of these gentlemen, just go into the description. You'll be able to find their LinkedIn there. Make sure to check out the Ampcontrol website. Make sure to subscribe to Mining Now if you haven't already. We will see you on the next episode.